So Sephora is having their spring event sale. You've budgeted $100 or $200 or $300 or maybe even an entire whopping $1,000. But how much is it really going to cost you? What if I told you that I could save you over $1,400 by not shopping the Sephora Spring Event Sale? Are you curious to find out how much you're really paying for that latest Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette? And also how my math skills are after having a couple of drinks? If so, stay tuned to find out. Hi everyone. How are you doing today? I decided on a whim today that I'm going to do a very different video. I know that for the most part on my channel, aside from talking about my no-buy, I've really tried to keep things pretty much strictly geared towards makeup. Things in my collection, shop my stash, PM projects, my top picks from my collection seasonally. And today I decided that we're actually going to do a numbers video. So we're going to take hypothetically some amounts that we would have spent in the Sephora sale, and we're going to crunch some numbers to reflect what those purchases really would cost us, especially if we were to put these purchases on a credit card. A lot of us right now might not have easy cash due to everything that is happening in the world, and it's very tempting to make ourselves feel better by just whipping out our card of plastic and feeling like we deserve a treat during these difficult times. So I just wanted to break down some hypothetical numbers, both for myself and for you guys, to really showcase how much that $100 or $200 or $300 or the really splurgy purchases of $500 or $1,000 would really cost us if we were to buy now and pay later. I have recently been watching quite a lot of Sephora Spring Event recommendation videos. Yes, I'm on a no-buy. For those of you that don't know, first of all, if you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I went on a no-buy for the entire year of 2020, so I know I will not be shopping the sale. I don't need any replacements at this point. I'm not allowing myself to purchase anything otherwise, but I still love watching recommendation videos. I always have. They've always been some of my favorite videos to watch. I don't know, somehow it's just fun. But of course, in the past, I've always been sucked in and always have succumbed to buying at least something during absolutely every single Sephora VIB sale. I believe back in the day, they were just called the VIB sale. I guess now, because there's 3 tiers, there's multiple sales. Sometimes Sephora will throw in an extra sale here and there. They no longer just call them the VIB sales. I think now it's like the spring event, the holiday event, some other event. But basically the gist of it is very much the same every single year. The Beauty Insiders, who is anybody that just signs up for the Sephora program, gets 10% off. If you spend $350 or above, you become a VIB, so you receive 15% off. And then if you reach the Rouge status, where you spend $1,000 in a year, and you receive 20% off during these sales. Today, I just wanted to break this down. Now, of course, this is all very personal. This is all very hypothetical. We are all in very different financial stages in our life, whether it is before this global pandemic or currently going through it. Some of us have lost our jobs completely, and of course, shopping a Sephora sale is not anywhere near on our mindset. Some of us have had reduced income, so maybe we would fall into the trap of, oh, I want to treat myself. But if we really truly look at our bank statements and our real numbers, our essential bills, it's probably not a good idea. And some of us have continued to be able to work either at home, or if you're an essential worker, continue to work outside of the house. So maybe financially we haven't been impacted as much. So we're all in very, very different places at the moment. So please take all of this with a grain of salt. This is all, as I said, just hypothetical numbers, but I thought this would be a really good thing to do because I know from personal experience, and to this day I really struggle with it. I have very good intentions going into budgeting each year or sitting down with my bank statements and really figuring out where my money goes. And I'm usually pretty good at it for about 1 to 3 months. And then again, I fall off the wagon. I've never been one to consistently check on my finances. I've never really been one to have a lot of money left over throughout my life because as a concert pianist, as a musician, a lot of our jobs are freelance and it's sort of, haphazard. There's never really any stability to the income, so it's very hard to budget. So I've always been one of those people that's sort of gone, caution to the wind, especially under the current circumstances. I'll somehow figure it out later. I have fallen into that psychology of I will treat myself today because life is short and because I just, want to, or I'm stressed, or it's a coping mechanism. Like I'll do this today, I'll figure it out tomorrow. I decided to structure this video kind of with that mindset of what if we were to fall into that trap of buy today, figure it out tomorrow. So basically the way I'm going to lay out these numbers, purely based on general research I've done online for the average numbers, the average debts that Americans might find themselves in. These are not necessarily your numbers, these are not necessarily my numbers, but these are all numbers that probably a lot of us have experienced at some point in our lives. So we're gonna take hypothetical numbers for our purchases. They're gonna go in increments of 100, 200, and 300. We're gonna look at it from the standpoint of a beauty insider who receives 10% off, a VIB who receives 15% off, and a Rouge who gets 20% off. But the common denominator that we're all gonna have here is we're gonna assume that, especially under the current financial climate issues that we are all dealing with, or at least a lot of us are dealing with, we don't really have that money up front to spend. So this is like our little treat that we are putting on a credit card today to pay off tomorrow. So with that in mind, we're gonna take an average of 18% interest as our mathematical number that we're playing with. And we're just gonna see how long it will take us to pay off these amounts and how much truly these purchases are gonna cost us by the time we're done paying. Now, I've gone ahead and calculated this at a basic minimum $25 a month payment. Obviously, if you were to pay more, you would pay them off faster. Let's lay out the worst case scenario so that we understand how this works, and then you guys can take this, if it's helpful in any way, and run with it and adjust the numbers accordingly. So let's get started. We're gonna start off with a $100 purchase, which, let's face it, is so easy to do in Sephora. When I was shopping the VIB sales, I would spend $100 pretty much every single time, even if I went in with the intention of spending less. Sephora is expensive. Pretty much everything at Sephora is at least $20 and up. There's so few products that are going to be less than that. So if you're buying 3-4 items right there, that's gonna be a minimum of $100. I have my numbers down here, so I will be looking down because of course I can't remember all these numbers. So if you are a beauty insider, you would receive 10% off your $100 purchase. That would put you at $90. However, we have to account for the fact that there's tax pretty much everywhere. I took an average of 7% as the number to play with. I live in New York City. Here it would be more. It's something like 8.6, but I know other states are only at 5 or 6%. So I've gone ahead and picked out a number that seemed a bit fair across the board. So at 7% off a $90 purchase, you're looking at $6.30, which means you're already spending $96.30 for your $100 worth of product. You're really only saving $3.70 thus far. Now, of course, if you calculate the fact that you would have initially paid $107 with tax, then you're saving about $10. However, let's assume we're putting this on a credit card, right? We've put this purchase of $96.30 onto a credit card, an average rate of 18%. And as I mentioned in the beginning, everything is going to be at $25 minimum payment a month. I don't want to repeat myself, so we're just going to assume that for absolutely every single thing that I'm mentioning today, every single one of these rundowns. With that in mind, that $96 purchase will take us 4 months to pay off, and we will accrue $4 in interest. So by the time we're done, we would have spent $100 and 4 months of minimum payments. That means that purchase is on your mind for 4 months and it's kind of still nagging at you for 4 whole months, and you're walking away paying $100. Essentially $100 worth of product, you're paying $100 for it. There's really no savings. Let's imagine we are VIB, and off of that $100, we are saving $15. So we are paying $85. We have $5.95 in tax, bringing our total cost to $90.95. With our credit card payments, we are still doing 4 payments. We are accruing $3 in interest for a total of $94. So that means we're saving only $6. You're only saving $6 to buy $100 $20 worth of product today and have it nag at you for the next 4 months. And that is if you have no other debt, if your financial situation stays the way it is and you are able to make those $25 a month purchases. Because we all know, my gosh, if you miss even one payment on a credit card, they're gonna slam you with a $35 late fee, and then your interest rate is gonna jump up to 30%, and it's gonna go on your credit history, and it's gonna be the snowball effect, right? I mean, I've been there, honestly, guys. So that's why I am speaking from experience. Like I've definitely had my share of credit card mishaps, and I'm doing now everything I can in my life to prevent that. In fact, one of the reasons I went on this no buy this year is to enable me to pay down debt faster. Unfortunately, the current global pandemic is of course not helping, but I'm still trying my best. If I was spending money the way I would have in the past, my God, it would have made it so much worse. Anyway, I digress. A Rouge gets 20%. We're still playing with $100 for time being. We are checking out the number says 80. We have $5.60 added in tax. We have just put $85.60 on our credit card. In 4 months, we would have accrued $3 more in interest, and we will pay $89 for that purchase in total, therefore saving us $11. It's not a big savings. But okay, so now we say, all right, well, that's $100, but wouldn't I save even more if I needed to replenish more items and I decided to treat myself to a bit of a more luxurious product? Because very often you'll hear people say, oh, use this time, use this 20% as a way to save money on the higher end ticket items, right? Buy that Natasha Denona palette for $129. Buy that Tom Ford foundation for $80, whatever it is. It's very, very, very easy to rack up those dollar amounts in that shopping cart over at Sephora. Let's see what happens when our budget extends to $200. A Beauty Insider 10% off checks out with $200 worth of product and pays $180 for it. After tax, we're at $192.60. So just right there, we're really only saving $7.40. And then we've just charged that $192.60 to our credit card. It's gonna take us 9 payments to clear that balance off. And by the time we're done, we are accruing $14 more in interest rate. So we are paying $206 for $200 worth of product. So we are actually spending an additional $6 on that purchase. Now, VIB, you say, okay, I have 15% off, so that should cancel it out, right? $170 for $200 worth of product. So that seems like a decent savings. I'm saving $30. After tax, we're looking at $181.90. After paying off for 8 months, we're accruing an additional $12. By the time all is said and done, we would have paid $194 for this purchase. I apologize, my neighbors are walking around upstairs. And this building, I always say, made out of cardboard. So we have saved $6. 8 months later. So for 8 months, this is in our psyche. This is affecting a lot of other things in our life, probably because we have one more bill to remember. It's all cumulative. If you already have more money on that credit card and you're adding to it, these numbers are gonna change. I'm just playing with these numbers. So we've saved $6 on a $200 purchase. We have spent $194 has left our account, $194 that we could be right now spending on other things or saving, and we have spent it in order to save $6. What if you're a Rouge? You're saving $40 up front. You have paid $11.20 in tax, and then after 8 months of your minimum payments, your total would be $182. So you're paying an additional $11 in interest, therefore saving you $18. So again, is it worth it to you? That's very, very individual. I'm just laying this out so that everyone has kind of these numbers to play with, and so that you guys have a little bit of a perspective, because it's so easy to get sucked into, I want this, I want that. Even right now, even when we know we shouldn't or we can't, it's very easy, and credit card companies make it very easy, and stores make it very easy. And it's one thing to say, oh, but after you really look at the numbers, look at your bank statements, look at your numbers. But how many of us, when we already feel beaten down, just want to close our eyes and not look at those numbers, right? Like I've been there where I'm like, like, no, the last thing I want to do is look at the numbers, and I really need somebody to give me a reality check. So I'm trying to be that voice today. Like, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of a reality check. If you don't need it, if you're doing fine, I'm not trying to encourage or discourage anything. I'm just trying to give us a little bit of an alternative perspective, because so many videos here on YouTube are, of course, about let me recommend this to you, let me recommend that to you, look at this pretty thing, look at these beautiful colors. I get sucked in just as much as you. So as always, I digress. Now, $300. This is where things get real. $300 is a beauty insider. 10% off means we're saving $30, and then we're paying an additional $18.90 in tax at 7%. Our total is $288.90. We have spent $288.90 in order to save $11. And then after 13 months, so over a year, we would have paid an additional $31 in interest, and the total would come out to $319. So we're basically losing $19. But now let's look at what would happen if we were a VIB and we're saving 15% up front. That means now our shopping cart has reduced itself down to $255 with the savings of $45. $17.85 gets added as our tax. We are at $272.85 on our credit card, and after 13 payments, so over a year, we will accrue $27 in interest, and our total amount will come out to a nice round $300 that we started off with. We have spent $300 on product we probably don't need, and we have saved zilch. Rouge gets 20% off. Okay, so 20% off means upfront we're saving $60. Our shopping cart is very happy at $240. We're paying $16.80 in tax for a total of $256.80. After 12 payments, we're accruing an additional $24 in interest, and our total would have been paid off after $281 worth of payments. We are saving $19 in total. This is where I was gonna stop today. And this was really going to be the whole video. And then I decided, well, what if we can play with much bigger hypothetical numbers? Now, these are not numbers I've ever spent in a VIB sale, although I definitely spent probably those last numbers I just mentioned at some point in my life. But these next two are kind of much more grand, but they're not unrealistic. I think for a lot of people, especially here on YouTube, or possibly for a lot of you guys, these are numbers that, again, I think are so easy to accumulate at Sephora, considering that just one serum is $88 or just one eyeshadow palette is $130. You know, if you buy an eyeshadow palette, a serum, a moisturizer, a perfume, and then a couple of lipsticks, you're looking at $500 sometimes. So that's our next number. Let's go through it. We're ready. We're ready to save the $50 as a beauty insider. We're so excited to save $50. Our shopping cart is at $450. We are paying a whopping $31.50 in tax. Our total quickly gets added up to $481.50, 23 payments later. So that's almost 2 years. We have accumulated $91 in interest for a total of $573. Over the course of the next 2 years, we're going to be paying off this instant gratification that we have treated ourselves to, and we are going to be losing $73 for that pleasure. If we were a VIB and we had 15%, we would then pay $29.75 in tax, bringing our total to $254.75. So upfront, actually, we're saving a good $45, which is not bad. We're still spending $450+ to save that $45. So, you know, we're not really saving, but you know what I mean. Now, however, we have put this on a credit card. We're making our minimum payments for the next 22 months, and we are accruing $80 in interest during that time, bringing our total to $534.75 by the time we're done paying it off almost 2 years later, therefore not saving us anything at all and actually losing us $34.75 on top of the $500 that we have spent to begin with. Now, if we are VIB Rouge, we are spending $400 upfront on these purchases, saving a whopping 100. Tax is 28. We're paying this off for the next 20 months. And by the time we're done, $70 of that 72 of initial savings is gonna go to the interest. So we're walking away having paid $498 for $500 worth of product. So a savings of $2, but again, we had to spend $498 to get that savings. And then finally, we're gonna go even bigger. We're gonna go 1,000. We're gonna spend $1,000 in this Sephora Spring Event. Are you ready? And we're gonna see what is it gonna cost us if we were to spend $1,000, if we were to buy $1,000 worth of product, charge it on a credit card today, and how long would it take us to pay this off, making minimum payments. As a beauty insider, at 10% off, we would be saving $100 up front, so our $1,000 worth of product is gonna cost us $900. However, immediately $63 is going to get added on as tax. I need a drink before I tell you these numbers. And 58 minimum payments later, we are accruing $485 in interest rate, and that purchase, that initial purchase of $963 is going to cost us $1,448. Meaning we have overpaid for that $1,000 worth of makeup and skincare by an additional $448. Isn't that mind-numbing? Isn't that just mind-blowing? I've played with these numbers a little bit in the past with credit card calculators and whatever, but still every single time I do this type of math, and even after doing this type of math, I have found myself falling right back into the trap of credit cards time and time again in my life. But it's amazing. But we've got 2 more tiers. Let's see if it gets better, because Beauty Insider, we all know, is pretty much a joke. I mean, 10%, and then as I said, I'm calculating 7% tax. So basically it's a savings of 3%, if that, right? And we've just discovered that if we're not paying it all up front, there is no savings. We're actually losing money, and big money at that. $448 worth of money. But let's say we are a VIB and we are getting 15%. So now our $1,000 worth of product is only costing us $850. Tax is now $59.50. Our total is $909.50. So it looks like we are saving $90. 53 payments later though, if we are paying our minimum payments on our credit card, we are owing $415 worth of interest rate. And by the time we're done paying this off, almost 4.5 years later, we would have paid $1,324.50, therefore overpaying for that $1,000 worth of product by $324.50. So that's what 15% gets you. Debt. And then we're finally reached that pinnacle level of VIB Rouge, where we have already spent $1,000 just to get that 20% discount. And now we're about to spend $1,000 more, or $800 more, for $1,000 worth of product. We're then paying $56 in tax. Our credit card has now been happily fed an additional $856 worth of debt. And after 49 payments, or slightly over 4 years, we have paid that credit card company an additional $354, and our total is going to come out to $1,210 by the time all is said and done 4 years later. That 20% off at VIB Rouge status is going to cost us an additional $210 after the $1,000 we've already spent to get that status, and then an additional $856 we charged to the credit card, and then an additional $354 we have spent in interest rate. That's a lot of dollars. This was all kind of in good fun. I mean, it was fun for me to do the math. I actually one of the few weird people that likes math. Not a funny topic, but on the other hand, of course, I want this to be a little bit more lighthearted. I know that everyone out there is most likely a very mature, responsible adult. There's absolutely no judgment here. If you're shopping the sale, please, by all means, shop the sale. That's wonderful. I want you to do what is right for you, what is right for your budget, what is right for your finances. However, I also know from personal experience that if somebody like me a few years ago, at the height of my makeup purchasing, bad purchasing habits, habits could have used a video like this, where somebody really breaks down these numbers and really puts them in perspective for me. So that's why I'm doing this. It's not to scold anyone and say, oh my God, look at me, yay me, I'm on this no buy and how easy for me, I'm not shopping the sale. It's not easy for me. I wish I had money. Wish I could shop the sale, for sure, you betcha. I have quite a few things on my wish list. There's a lot of things that I would have gladly purchased even though I have a ton of makeup already, knowing that probably half of it is going to go bad before I use it. Yes, knowing that there's still a ton of things I have yet to even try in my collection. I did an entire video dedicated to a ton of eyeshadow palettes that are sitting and collecting dust even though they haven't even been swatched. Farrell's put on my eyes. I can link that video up in the iCards for you guys in case you're curious. What are all these eyeshadow palettes Natalia is just sitting staring at? But it's just important to get these different perspectives, and I wish I was seeking out that kind of information a few years ago. Maybe it was somewhere out there. Maybe there was one or two YouTubers who was doing it. But honestly, I think until Too Much Tash did a no buy year and then Hannah Louise Poston did an entire no buy year, I don't think it was really a big conversation here in YouTube land. I think consumerism was really at its peak because people were starting to realize that, oh, brands are going to sponsor me, brands are going to send me product, oh this is, and it was fun. Brands were coming out with all of these things suddenly at a pace that was just astronomical, right? Whereas in the old days the Naked palette came out and it was like the big thing of the entire year. Now there's a new big palette every week, every day sometimes. So it's easy to get sucked into that, and I just wanted to throw out real tangible numbers at myself and at you guys so that we can kind of come back down a little bit and assess from a more realistic, tangible perspective. Brands will be brands. Brands are making the billions. We are not the brands. We're not the ones making the billions. We're the ones feeding the billions to the brands, $1 at a time. So every dollar you don't spend is $1 and change in credit card debt that you're saving yourself from. An average American nowadays has a whopping $6,849 worth of revolving debt. And I am pretty much in that category. So I can vouch for that. And I have a feeling quite a lot of people here in YouTube space, both as creators and as viewers, probably can relate. So especially during the current times, as hard as it is and as already sad and anxiety ridden as we are sitting cooped up in our homes, let's see if there's other ways we can channel that energy for other good other than accumulating even more debt to kind of ease the burden. So I hope this helped at least somebody out there. As I said, I kind of wish there were more videos like this a few years back to save me from definitely overspending. Even if this wasn't helpful or doesn't pertain to you, I hope you will consider letting me know if you like this video by hitting the like button, and of course if you didn't like it, feel free to let me know as well. If you have any thoughts on this subject or anything else that you would like to discuss, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I thank you so much for watching. I hope as always that you are staying safe. I hope that you will consider subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Today I come at you guys with sirens, with notebooks filled with numbers, with my grandma sweater, and with an Aperol Spritz. How can you resist? I know.